What's up? Today we are looking at all the lead parts for The Oddfather by John Petrucci. I have done what I consider the verse and chorus melodies and all that type of stuff in the previous video. So if you're wanting to learn those first, this one just focuses on that part where it starts picking up, which I'll show you in a sec, and then the actual solo, and then all the way to the outro. So we're in E standard. Get tuned up. Let's roll. All right, so the intro. We actually don't need picks. This is purely tapped. For this, the pattern stays the same. The frets are the thing that change. The pattern is open, hammer, hammer, tap, pull off, open, hammer, hammer, tap, pull off, open, hammer, hammer, tap, and then repeat. So it's open all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, repeat. So you're repeating at the broken part. So and that pattern stays exactly the same until I tell you that it changes. And this is all on the G string. So open 7 8 14 8 7 open 7 8 14 8 7 open 7 8 14. I'm going to just let you know what the frets are. You learn the pattern. Play that twice. Then we change to open 2 3 10 2 3 open, etc. Play that twice. Then we're just tapping on the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th. Now things start to change just a little bit. So we go to the 8th fret, everything else stays the same. Play that once, then you change 5, 7, 12. Okay, so far we've got now things change a bit. At the first part, it's on the 6th, 7th, and 10th fret. Then 6th, 7th, 12th. Then we're doing 9th, 10th, 15th. Then we're doing 10th, 12th, and 17th. So that's that whole part. So then we move on to 14, 16, 19. 14, 17, 20. 15, 17, 21. Followed by 17, 20, 23. Followed by 17, 19, 24. Followed by 5, 7, 12. So that whole part slowly. Now, you just got to play it without stuffing up. Okay, and then we do the final big bitchin' ass run that goes through there. All right, so this is where the rhythm changes, but once again, this rhythm stays the same all up until the last couple of bars. This part's really cool. So it's open, hammer, hammer, tap, pull off, open. That's it. Open 2, 3, tap on the 5th. Right? And then you move up and tap on the 7th. Everything else is the same. And then we go to the next pattern, which is open 5, 3, 7, all the way back down. Move your tapping hand up to the 9th fret and then repeat. And then we move up to the next pattern. So far we've got next pattern. So it's just open 5, 7, 9, 7, 5, open 5, 7, 10, 7, 5, open. Next pattern is open 7, 9, 10, 9, 7, 7, 9, 12, 9, 7. So far I've got it keeps going like that. Yeah, so the next pattern is 9, 10, 12, 10, 9, followed by 9, 10, 14, 10, 9. And then next pattern, 10, 12, 14, 12, 10, followed by 10, 12, 15, 12, 10. So far I've got next pattern is 12, 14, 15, 14, 12. Same thing, but 12, 14, 17, 14, 12. All right, next pattern is open 14, 15, 17, 15, 14. Move up again to 14, 15, 19, 15, 14. So this is where it changes. And so far we've got okay, that's where it changes. At that change, it goes open 14, 17, 20, 17, 14 twice. Move up 3 frets. You do open 17, 20, 23, 20, 17, open twice. All right, and then we finish this off right before we go into the solo with 24, pull off to 19, pull off to 17. Do that twice. And then we pull off to open. And then, of course, we go open 17, 19, 24, 19, 17. So it should sound like. And then we repeat that 3 times. Before it changes, we repeat the second part twice. So in the last bar, it becomes. Before we hit into the solo. If that didn't make sense, please just read the tab because it's just repeating the same frets over and over. It's confusing to say, it's confusing to hear, but the tab makes it very clear. And I'm playing it slow enough so that you can get an idea of what's happening. So moving on to the actual solo right now. So we start off with 5 on the D string, and then 3, 5 on the D. Three on the G, hit the 5th fret, you bend up, you release, and then you land on the 3rd fret. And then you hit the 5th on the D, 5, 3, 5 on the G, and you bend on that final 5th. You do kind of a half bend there before you do the big bend, followed by the bend and release. So that first bar becomes, second bar becomes, third bar becomes. Okay, so it's not that complicated, it's just getting the feel right. Right, and then you end that off with hitting the 3rd fret on the G, and then you hit and hold the 5th fret on the G there. So there's only, 4 whole notes in that whole section, but you get the idea. Anyway, grab a big pull from the top. So it doesn't really matter, like I've just hit the 15th fret there because, I don't know, that's where I go from. You just grab on the E string and you just slide that all the way down. Bend on the 11th fret. Bend on the 11th fret on the B string, then 12, 12 on the GD, and then on the B string, 10, hammer to 11, pull to 10, and then that same 12, 12 on the GB. Hit the 10th on the G, and then you slide down into the 10th on the D, 8 on the D, 10 on the A. So slowly. And then we do that little climb up. And we'll take that one bar at a time, just to make sure that we're getting it right. 8, 8 on the GD, 10, 8 on the GD, except you hit that twice, so. Stretch to the 12th on the G, slide on, when you hit this 8, slide up. You just kind of slide up. As you're sliding, you hit the 14th fret on the G, and then you land on the 13th fret on the D. So it becomes something like this. Okay? It's not important that you make that 13th fret. It's just got to be a slide up. So as you slide up, you hit the 14th fret on the G, and you hit the 13th fret on the D. And then the 15th fret on the G, 13th fret on the D. So slowly. And then we do the run, which is 15, 17, 19 on the G, and then 16, 18, 20 on the B, and then 17, 18 on the high E, landing on the 20th on the B. That whole 8 bars slowly. Next 8 bars. So we just do this unison bend, 20th fret on the B, bend up a tone, hit the 17th fret on the high E, 20th fret on the high E. Just do that 3 times. All right, this next bar, it's a little bit weird, but you got to get the feel for it. So. Okay, so what happens there is after we hit that final 20th on that, after those bends, we bend on the 20th. As we're grabbing high, you want to grab this fret on the B string. So you just kind of, as you're holding that bend, so you're kind of getting the up of one and the down of another. You follow that up by another full tone bend on the 18th fret on the B. All right, and then it's 19, 19 on the G and D. So far. And then the next part. You kind of got to feel this part out. You grab the 12th fret on the B and the G strings, and you just kind of bend a couple of times. He's just doing something like that very quickly. And then the second time that he does that bend, it's just on the 12th fret on the G string. You're not grabbing anything else. Scratch, scratch in there, and then bend on the 11th fret. You release that into the next bar, hit 10, 12, 10 on the G string, and then that part's done. So, first 4 bars. And then to finish that all off, you do that just random pull down on the low E string. Next part. Quite easy but fun. Okay, That's just you're hammering on and pulling off. I'm going to mention the string name once and just know that between every single note there's a pull off. So on the A string, 3, pull to open, 5, pull to open. D string, 3, 5, 6, 7. And the G is 5, 7. So far, the first bar. Okay. Then we've got the next bar is all on the G string, every single note. 5, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14, 17, 19. All together slowly. Now, with that, I do want to point out, I recommend striking every note and pulling off, because if you're just doing that on hammer-ons and pull-offs, it's going to be quite exhausting. You're going to leave yourself a lot of room for problems. Much easier. And then we tie that whole section off with this. The hardest part that I find about this little bit specifically is there's no real easy place to break it up. I've learnt it as 2 whole bars, but it's not really useful to you to teach it as 2 full bars. So I guess I'll just take it bar by bar and try and explain it and then give some examples and then go from there. Like this, G string, 14, hammer to 15. High E string, you 13, hammer to 17, tap to 18, pull to 17, pull to 13. So... and then you do 15, 14 pull off on the G, 15, 14 pull off on the D, and then 17 on the A. So that becomes... to finish that part off, it's 14 hammer to 15 on the D, 14 hammer to 17 on the B. So far. Okay, and that is the first bar. Next bar is... 17 on the B, 17 pull off to 14 on the G. And then 15, 14 on the D, 17 on the A. So far. And then we climb back up the same way. So 14 hammer to 15 on the D, 14 hammer to 17 on the G, all together. Okay, and then the final part. 13 hammer to 17, pull off to 13 on the high E. And then 16 pull off to 13 on the high E. 15 on the B. 16 on the G. But that 16 is in the next bar. So that bar together is... like kind of last 2 bars together is... Sweet, and now we're on to the next 8 bars. So this is actually probably the most simple of the 8 bars sections in this solo. It just starts on the 16th fret on the G on the same note that we ended the last one on. All you do, use the side of your pick, wherever your pick is. I don't think mine's in focus, but you use the side of your pick and you basically hit that where we're tapping, because it just gives a more abrasive tone and you can kind of go faster and it'll just stay more clean. So, and you go down by frets. So it goes at first at 16, 19, then 15, 19, and then 14, 19, all on the G, and then you end the phrase on the 12th fret on the G. So. Okay. Now you do need to hit that 12th fret. You can't just... Okay, so you do. That's the only part that you really need to pay attention there, is just making sure that you land that 12th fret. Then you do the... which is just a 14th fret on that G string. You basically do a bend, release, and then rebend. As you're up there, we go into these triplety things, which is... which is really simple. It's just kind of release, bend on the 14th, hit that 14th then. So hit the 12th fret on the G string there, and then 14-12 on the D, and then 14-12 on the G and 14-12 on the D. Right, so slowly. And then you finish that part off with 14 on the A, slide to 12, hit the 10, and then hit the 12 on the E. That comes in faster, so it's... Land on that 12th, slide that down, hit the 17th fret on the B. You can get the rhythms, you can get the bends. It does go up to a bend and a half, so you're playing around. Feel free to add a pinch harmonic in there if you want. Bend on the 20th fret on the high E, which is pretty straightforward. And that ends on the, which is just the B string, 20th, hammer to 22nd, pull off to 20th again. All right, so that whole section. Not that difficult. Next one. I found this one to be the hardest. This first pattern just blows my mind. But here it is. It's on the B string. We go 7, hammer to 8, pull off to 7. And then we hit the open G string. Still on the G string, we pull off from 9 to 7, open, 7, 9. So, okay. And then 7 hammer to 8 on the B, and then 7 hammer to 10 on the high E, pull off to 7 again, and then pull off from 8 to 7 on the B. So slowly. Right, I actually hit that 10th fret. You can kind of do whatever you want. It doesn't actually matter. So then we kind of do the same thing. It's 9 on the G, and then 7, 8 on the B, and then 7, 9, 7 on the high E, and then climb back down. So 8, 7 on the B, and then 9 on the G. So, right, so that whole part so far. Right, and then this changes up yet again. So we go 9, 7, open on the G. And then that's 7, 8, 7 on the high E. And then 8, 7 on the B. So, slowly, that whole part. For more of the same type of thing, it's 2 beats of this is 9, 7 on the G, and then 8, 7 pull off with a pinch harmonic, and then 9, 9 on the G and D strings, and then 11, 9 on the G. So, followed by 12, 10 on the D, 12 on the A, 10, 9 on the D. So, slowly. Right, and that whole part so far. And then it's on the A, 7, followed by 8 on the D. Then we bend on the B string on the 8th fret. As we bend that down, we release that bend, we hit the 6th fret on the B, and then we bend on the 7th fret on the G. So, So after that 7th fret, we bend on the 15th fret on the B. This part's pretty straightforward. It's just 17, 21st on the B string, and after you've hit that 21st, you pull off back to the 17th, go down to the 15th, 17, 18, and then you pull off again, back to the 15th, and then 17th, pull off to 15, and that's slowly. Then we hit the 16th on the G, 17, pull off to 16, pull off to 14, 16, pull off to 14, so, and then 13, 14, 16. Nice big bit of vibrato there, or bendies if you need. Followed by the 13th fret on that G, and then a bend on the 15th fret on the B. So, slowly. And then we finish that section with a very simple part. This is achieved by pretty much you just jam and play as many notes as you can, but while you're doing that, you're hammering and pulling off between the 17th and the 18th fret, all on the B string. So you're kind of doing as well as... And when you speed that up, you're kind of getting a few extra notes there. It's a bit interesting and weird, but that's how you do it. Now we're on to the last section. Don't get scared by this part. It's only hard because it's fast. Every single note in here is picked, so do not hammer on, do not pull off. You've got to just play it right. 22nd fret, 17th fret on the high E, and then 18, 17 on the B. And then repeat that, but an octave lower. So we're going, what's that? 19th fret to the 14th fret on the G, 15, 14 on the D. So, and then climb back up. So that's 15 on the D, and then 14, 19, 14 on the G. And then keep climbing back down, so 15, 14 on the D. So far we've got... And then we go down 17 to 12 on the A, and then 13, 12, 13 on the E. We climb back up the way we can. 12 to 17 on the A, 14, 15 on the D, 14, 19 on the G, and then 17, 18 on the B, and then 17, 22 on the high E. So that run back up is... And then we just climb down the last 4 notes. After you've hit that 22nd fret on the high E, you hit the 17th, and then you go 18, 17 on the B. So slowly, the whole section. All right, so everything else is the same exact pattern. It's just the frets are moved around. So we go down to the 20th fret. So it's 20 to 15 on the high E, 17, 15 on the B, 17, 12 on the G, 14, 12 on the D, and then climb back up. And then 15, 10 on the A, 12, 10 on the E, climb back up. And then you climb back all the way up those exact same notes, and then you just climb back down 3 to get to the end. So slowly. Right, and then the last one, this one's a little bit of a stretch, but it starts on the 24th fret, so it doesn't feel that much different to the one we just learnt. It goes like this. (24), 18 on the high E, followed by 20, 18 on the B. And we've got 21, 15 on the G, followed by 17, 15 on the D. And climb back up, climb back down. And we finish that off with the 19 to 13 on the A, 15, 13, 15, climb all the way up. Okay, so that bar slowly. Then finally it changes to (20) pull off to 17 on the high, 18, 17 on the B and G strings, 19, 20 on the D and A strings. You land on the 17th fret on the A string there, and then you walk your way back up. 20 on the A, 19 on the D, 17, 18, 17 on the G, B, E, 20, 17, 18, 17 on the E, E, B, G strings. So slowly that is... This is exactly the same as a D-shaped arpeggio, except we're going to the 17th fret as the lowest note instead of the 15th fret would be the normal leg. So normally, but this one. Okay, and then we do a D minor shaped arpeggio to follow that up. Same thing is that we're not going to the 12th fret, we're going to the 13th fret on the lowest note, so it's just one little point of difference, not much to worry about though, but it's 17 to 13 on the high E, and then 15, 14, 15 on the B, G, and D strings, and then 17, 13, 17 on the A, 15, 14, 15 on the D, G, B strings, 13, 17, and hold that. So that whole section as one piece. And then we are into the final part. Now, I am actually going to play this again, so any of you who already know this from the previous video, then don't worry about it. Just skip to here. I'm just including this because if people are only here to learn the solo and they just kind of want to learn that part, it flows through to the end of the song. So, sorry if you've already learnt it. 11, slide to 15, hit the 15, slide to 17, hit the 17. Go to the 18. You climb down 17, 15, 13. Land on the 10th fret there, all on the A string still, and staying on the A string. 9th fret, slide to the 13th, hit it, slide to the 15th, hit it, slide to the 16th. And then we end that with climb down 15, 13, 12. After you hit that 12, it's 14, 14 on the D, G strings, 12 on the B, 13 on the G, and then you finish everything on the 14th fret on the D there. So now we're into the final part. So it's 17th fret on the G string that we're bouncing off. So we start on that, do 14 on the G, do, and like of course this note that I keep going back to is that 17 on the G string. So 14 on the G, 15 on the D, back to that 17th fret, 14 on the D, and then 15 on the A, and back to that same 17th. So bend on the 17th fret on the B string. So this is just not a full bend. It's not. It's just a half bend. So 1 semitone. So that part. Land on the 16th fret on that B string there. And then we bounce off the 16th fret on the D. So it's just, you're bouncing off that 16th fret, you climb up 16, 17, 19. And you hit the 19th fret on the D string there. So on the B string, you climb 19, 20. Hit the 16th fret on the B there, and you bounce off the 16th fret on the G string. Right, and as you're doing that, so it's the 16th fret on the G string that you bounce. It's the same climb up, 16, 17, 19. When you get to that 19, you're bouncing off the 17th fret on the B. Another semitone bend. On that 19th fret, bring it down to the 17th. And then we hit the outro. So that whole part. Anything that you didn't see me covering in this video was covered in the previous video, so go watch that. What I try and do as a guitarist is I try and get as technically proficient as I can in any specific technique, right? Now, what happens is when you get too robotic with this stuff, it does sound like a robot. I think John Petrucci is borderline robot with this stuff. I think it would really pay for him to just, I don't know, not play guitar for like a year and then really get some emotion going in there, because it's just so technical and it's so perfect. It sounds good as it is, but you know, there is something to be said for just a Jimi Hendrix style of playing. I try and get the middle ground, so I've got, you know, very, very good chops mixed with the human ability, so that I do make the little mistakes here and there, and you know, the overbends or whatever. My channel is full of instructional videos about that type of thing, and have a look. If you've got any questions, ask them. If you've got any recommendations, please ask them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm just about at the 1,000 subscribers mark, and that really excites me. And yeah, I look forward to doing more stuff in the future. Just let me know what you want to see. So I'll see you guys then, whenever the then happens to be. And yeah, I look forward to it. Bye.